it's Karen from Club Threads. Welcome to my video. This time I'm going to talk about what sold in the week leading up to the 2nd of November on eBay and Marketplace. So I'll get straight into it. After that I'm going to show you what I picked up with my $36 that I made from the last haul from the pay by the kilo warehouse. So let's get into it. The first thing that I sold was this Zadig and Voltaire cami blouse. I bought that. It actually came in a lot of clothes that I bought off Facebook Marketplace. I had already made my money back, so this was basically free. The blouse sold for $32. For $30, I paid $23.20 shipping. It went to a US buyer and I made $22.64 after fees. Next one was this beautiful Mela Purdy technical polyester blouse. This came from the estate house that I talked about in my last video, so it was completely free. It sold for $99 with free shipping and I profited $78.40. The next one was this black Events vintage cami. This came free from a friend, from someone in the family. Sorry, I haven't actually written down what it sold for, but I made a profit of $13.60. The next top also came from a friend of the family. It was also free. It was a red satin corset top. It sold to a US buyer. It sold for $15 and I made a profit of $13.60. The next one was this Country Road Irish linen shirt. It sold for $32.70 on eBay. Sorry, I'll mention also that all of these items sold on eBay. I'm not gonna lie, eBay and Marketplace have both been so slow this week. This beautiful Country Road men's linen shirt sold for $32.70. And I made a profit of $24.75. This shirt cost me $4. The next skirt that I sold was this black ruffle skirt. It was a vintage Y2K or 90s item. This also came from a friend, from someone in the family. It sold for $15 and I made a profit of $12.80. The next item, this was an interesting one. This little gold tone brooch actually came on an item that I thrifted and I just took it off and listed it separately. It sold for $27.95. It did take a little while to sell and I made a profit of $16.90. The next one was these Converse dainty white high top sneakers. I paid $6 for these. I've had them for such a long time. They eventually sold for $27.59. I made a profit of $17.20. The next one was this David Lawrence brown silk cami top that I showed a couple of videos ago. It cost me $2.25. I sold the cami for $20.65 and I made a profit of $14.25. The next one was this vintage 90s burgundy velvet skirt. I paid $4 for this. I sold it for $24.50 and I made a profit of $16.85. The buyer paid shipping. The next one were these Running Bear blue capri leggings. I paid $4 for these. I sold them for only $10. The buyer paid shipping and I made a profit of a measly $5. I won't be picking up Running Bear in future. The next item was this 80s black pleated flare skirt. I didn't have a lot of confidence in this, but I listed it anyway. It was a free item from a friend. I sold it for $25. The buyer paid shipping and I made a profit of $21.20. The next one was this vintage white satin 70s shirt. I thought this shirt was so cool. It was really lovely with the bird print on it, made in Japan. I paid $4 for this. It sold for $25. The buyer paid shipping and I made a profit. The next one was this David Lawrence abstract print fit and flare dress. This was free from a friend. No investment into this. It sold for $27.65. The buyer paid shipping and I made a profit of $24.35. The next one was this tiny pin that was the Irvin parachute wings. I think it was like a little collectible pin that I got from the estate house. It was totally free. It sold for $24.50. The buyer paid shipping and I made a profit of $20.60. Again, another item from the estate house was this vintage abalone shell bracelet. I got it for free. It sold for $19.50. The buyer paid shipping and I made a profit of $16.30. The next item was this vintage Huckleberry Hound fitted sheet. I paid $3 for this sheet. It sold for $49.90. I had free shipping on it, so I made a profit of $31. The next one was an item that I grabbed for a market that I was doing a couple of years ago. It was a pair of these sheer black lace capri leggings. They didn't sell at the market, so I brought them home and listed them on eBay. I paid $4 for them. They sold for $15.40 and I made a profit of $10. These Dora party supplies came in a box of party supplies that I bought for $20 a long time ago. I wondered why I bought them and thought it was a silly purchase, but I listed the Dora ones anyway as a trial. They did sell for $24.50 with a buyer paid shipping and I made a profit of $11.34. Sorry, I think I actually paid for the shipping. They had free shipping on them. Profited $11.30. Next were these Levi's women's dark wash denim shorts, size 29. I paid $4 for these. They sold for $29.95. The buyer paid shipping and I made a profit of $22.30. Next ones were these Adidas women's yellow sweatshorts. I paid $4 for these. They sold for $13 and the buyer paid shipping. I made a profit of $7. I think I've decided that I'm just not going to pick up these little shorts, women's shorts. They just, the profit margin's just not there. It's not worth my time. I'm only going to pick up the longer jorts, which are people are wanting right now, or board shorts, or anything that's interesting or a high-end item. I won't bother with the little summery shorts. The next one was a really nice item. It was this West Germany fat lava orange jug or vase. I got this from the estate house for free. It sold for $65. I had free shipping on this and I made a profit of $40.20. So that one was a great sale. The next one, this Boho Australia skirt. It was really old inventory that I've had for such a long time. I was going through and the old inventory thinking to donate it, but I pulled out some items that I thought might be worth photographing. This was one of them. I paid $4 for this many moons ago. I sold it for $12 buyer paid shipping and I made a profit of $6. So not really worth it for that label. Won't be picking up Boho Australia in future. The next one was these Tiger Mist faux leather black score. It was really cute, but not a high dollar item. I bought it for $4, sold it for $24.95. Took a really long time to sell and I made a profit of $18. Just the fact that it sat there for so long, I probably won't pick up that brand again. The next one was this Saxony black open jacket. It had a bit of an avant-garde sort of vibe, so I put that into the title. I got this for free. I sold it for $15. The buyer paid shipping and I made a profit of $12. It's not a highly desirable brand and it's an old Australian brand. I probably wouldn't pick that one up again unless it had a really interesting silhouette. I sold this Colette Dinigan black cami top. I paid $4 for this. It sold for $29.95. Went to an overseas buyer and I made a profit of $20.90. The next one was this Bohemian Traders dress. I paid $4 for this. It sold for $24.46. Buyer paid shipping and I made a profit of $17.50. The tag in the label in the neckline I think was missing from this dress, so I took a little bit of, I lowered the price considering that. The next one was this vintage Y2K lace blouse. I paid $4 for this. It sold for $29.95. Buyer paid shipping and I made a profit of $21. I've noticed with the little cami tops, they're so lightweight, completely worth picking up. They sell quite quickly, especially if it's vintage or if it's 100% silk. They weigh nothing to buy, so definitely grab those. Make sure they're on your radar when you're out thrifting. I'm finding that I have a really high turnover of the little cami tops. So that's it for this week. Now I'm going to show you what I picked up with my $36 from the Pay by the Kilo warehouse. And this profits from all of this stuff is going to be going towards my $5,000 savings challenge, as well as I'm also adding any money and profit from anything that I sold that I got for free. I'll get into it. This one is just a little Lululemon sports bra. It's in good condition. It's just a little size, but I reckon I'll get about $15 to $20 for that. These were pretty, oopsies. These were pretty cool. Just dropped the hand off my mannequin. It's now like Thing. Who's been watching Wednesday? Or the Addams Family. The next one that I got was these camo pants. They're a Y2K camo pant with a straight leg. Really fantastic item. They did have some discoloration and pilling on the inside of the waistband, but that's not going to be a drama. I've taken my sweater shaver to clean that up, and I disclosed this discoloration here. I'm confident that these will still sell in the $40 to $60 range. The brand is Industry, by the way, and they are a size 8 women's. Okay, the next one. Don't pass on vintage NRL gear. It does well, does very well. These ones are all black, just a pair of shorts. Obviously the jerseys do better. They're an Adidas brand, so I looked up the year. They were from 2007, so grabbed those, all blacks team. This was an interesting find. The brand is Subsurface, which I think is a UK brand, but it's this maxi mesh knit iridescent dress that I think it's like a rave festival brand. Really like sheer open knit, very on trend right now. So I grabbed that. I've actually listed that starting at $99, hoping that an overseas buyer might snap that up. I don't know if the brand is very well known here just yet, but we'll see how that one goes. Didn't realize that this was missing the hood until I got home, but I've listed it anyway. It's this G-Star Raw men's bomber style jacket, lightweight, sort of mid-season jacket, transitional. It's in perfect condition other than missing the hood, and it's from 22, so I thought that was worth grabbing. We got these Dickies wide leg trousers. They're women's. They are new with the tag. Original price was $129.99 at the Glue store, and I know Dickies does all right. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of white pants. They tend to take a while to move, but considering that these had the wide leg and had the tag, I thought they were worth getting. The next item that I picked up was this vintage R.M. Williams women's shirt with the, the bull's head? I can't remember what it's called. So it's actually has a bit of wash wear fade to it, but I don't think that's going to deter buyers. I've listed that and disclosed that in my listing. That one was the size is actually faded, so I've just measured it and I asked AI to tell me what size it was, and I included that in my description. I thought this one was super cool. It's a Y2K sort of baby tee in this gorgeous pastel yellow color, and it's got this so cool Kitten Records graphic. So I've listed that one was a size 10 or an Australian small, 100% cotton. I wasn't familiar with this brand, but it's rumor, it's a nothing brand, but it's 100% wool, lilac mauve color. These also a nothing brand, however I picked them up just based on the silhouette. It's a sort of wide leg, lag and look. Make sure you're putting those keywords into your listings. Oversized, really cool fabric for hot humid weather. The brand is Mokia, size 10. Thought it would just look so cool on the right person, styled in the right way. I picked up this 100% linen Italian dress. Again, has that lag and look. You could also use avant-garde in your title as a keyword. Grab that one, that's a free size. This one somebody gave me, it's a baby doll dress. I'm picking up baby doll dresses regardless of the brand now because they are doing very well, attracting a lot of attention. This one isn't actually a Y2K brand called Request. It's a size 8 and it has a bit of an Indian sort of bohemian vibe to it with the puff sleeves, very cute on. And the final item was this. It's just a boring like Quicksilver tee, but it's a collab with Travis Rice, who I don't know the surfer, but the fact that it was a collab, I looked it up. I think it was worth like at least 25. I grabbed that one. It's a really nice thin cotton. I personally like wearing these thin cotton t-shirts because they're cool for the really hot, humid weather. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Have a great day.